Okay, so this is just a quick video to talk about my experience with chronic fatigue and how it relates to doing what I love to do and doing what I have to do. And again, it is all about conditioning in my experience, being conditioned from a very young age that there are certain things that you have to do in order to survive. In my experience, it all comes down to the fear of dying. So there's a lot of things that we have to do, that we are taught we have to do, and we have to do them a certain way. Air quotes. I like the air quotes. Anyway, so there are a lot of things that we are being taught from a very young age that we have to do in order to survive, to get by in life. And there's nothing wrong with that. It was just our parents, society, whatever it is, taking care of us and of themselves and not knowing any better. So we've been taught to do X, Y, Z. You know, we have to work hard to make money. We have to do this, we have to do that. All of these concepts are being fed to us. And so we slowly forget about the things that we actually want to do. The things that we love to do, that that just make our hearts sing. That make our insides jump and tingle with excitement. We forget about it because the things that we have to do in life become more and more, or maybe even more important, because that fear is pushing them further and further and further into reality. The fear of what happens if you don't do them, if you don't follow the rules. What happens if you don't eat? What happens if you don't sleep? What happens if you don't work? What happens if you don't have money? What happens if you don't, do this, do this, do this, do this? If you're not a good person, if you don't take care of other people. What about all the have-tos? What if, that doesn't happen? It's all driven by fear. And so what I have found coming out of my chronic fatigue was that there weren't many things anymore that I actually want to do, or there wasn't a lot of time and space for them anymore in my life. And some of them I'd even forgotten about, or just completely written off. For example, I've always loved to paint, I've always loved to be creative. And although I had a very creative job for a long period of my life, I never really embraced that little artist in me, the person that wants to just paint or create for the sake of creating. And once I started to do that again, I actually realized that I had energy for this. That there was no pain in my body when I was painting. That I was relaxed, that I was in tune with myself. That it felt as natural as breathing to me. And that I could go for hours and hours and hours. Once I sit down then and started to rest, I realized, my God, I was quite exhausted. So it's still about learning to take it in the right proportions for myself. But the energy for it is there because the desire for it is there. The tingling in the body is there. The heart says yes to this. Yes, I want to do this. So in my experience, chronic fatigue isn't just about resting and carrying on with the things that we have. It's about letting go of all the things that aren't serving us anymore and finding a way to make our passion into our business. And I don't mean business again, you have to work hard, you have to, all of these pressure things. I mean it from a place of ease and enjoyment and desire, and letting the money part of it be a byproduct of that. We all have to earn money. But do we all have to work in the sense that we have been taught and conditioned to believe that we have to work? I think they're two different things. And so what we do plays a huge role in our energy levels. Also, how we do it and when we do it. If we do it all of the time, like I said, if I paint all of the time, all day long, I will get tired. I will be exhausted. Again, just finding out what works for me and letting the body make that decision by bringing awareness into our current experience moment by moment. And how we do things, why we do things. Do we do them for ourselves or for somebody else? Or for some kind of belief that we have? What is our motivation behind the things that we do? Our true motivation. What's the driver behind it? And when do we do it? Is our body maybe in a rest cycle, especially as a woman? Are we maybe, in the time of our month where we just need a little bit more rest? Or are we in a time when we're really, really charged up with all of our hormones to go out there and explore life and live life? Where in our cycle are we in terms of age? And I don't mean age to hold us back or limit us, but I mean, do we still even want to operate on the same level of energy that we did when we were 20? Or did that fall away along the way because it's just not as important anymore? What we do, how we do it, when we do it and why has a huge, huge impact on our energy, and is directly related to exhaustion, burnout, which eventually leads to chronic fatigue. So let's explore this. Let's see what works and what doesn't work for us. And look at the drivers behind all of that conditioning, so that they can fall away too. Let me know if you can relate, and what your experience has been like in terms of your own creative flow, in your own creative energy. And that doesn't have to be art. It could be anything that sparks your joy deep inside of you.